Hi, I'm Josh Gondelman. That is my name. I'm a writer and comedian. I think as much as people know me ever, they know me for my appearances on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. And I was a staff writer for Last Week's Night with John Oliver. I was a writer and producer on Jesus and Marrow. And occasionally, the other day, I guess this is where people know me from. The other day, a guy was riding his bike on the opposite direction I was walking, and he stopped and he said, "Hey, man, did you work for Jesus and Marrow?" And I said, yes. And he said, "I saw you taking a shit on that show one time." And I said, that was definitely me. My work and my like general vibe maintains kind of a gentleness and like a warmth. Nobody's offered me enough money to not do that. But really, I mean, like, I'm goofing, but really the answer is like, that's kind of naturally the kind of work that I produce. It's like the stuff that I do that resonates the most with people. And it feels like good and like true, like coming off the fingertips, like a jump shot. So like, I'm not the most tuned in person to every like 4-degree tightening of the screw of censorship. As like someone who does work that like is broadcast through the internet and on television occasionally, it definitely is something that's on my radar. Like, obviously, one high profile example was the way that like not only was Stephen Colbert's show canceled 10 months in advance, but they were like, there's not even going to be a late show on CBS anymore. And that to me feels like not exactly one to one, like the government saying a TV show can't happen anymore, but it certainly feels like a 1 to 1.2 of that. Like, it feels not unrelated to the government's preference that Stephen Colbert not talk about the government. And then, there's the stuff like the age verification laws that feel like they're kind of a turning up of that boiling water to mix a physical metaphor and like cut down on who is able to communicate and what people are allowed to talk about, right, under the auspices of like keeping children safe, which like so often so much sinister shit is done like for the children, which is like, obviously I use scare quotes not because I think we should imperil children, but because I think it's like such a convenient blanket to like smuggle in all sorts of treacherous nonsense. This is the slippery slope that all the shitheads were pretending they were afraid of when really they just didn't like anyone being mad at them, right? It's like, once you are letting political figures silence political dissent, there's kind of no bottom to where that can go, right? And like, you see it already. Like, I think there is a lot of righteous political speech or righteous like social justice speech that is punished and selected against. And I think like the crusade for free speech and like First Amendment rights is often falsely carried out by people who just want no one to be allowed to be mad at them for saying shitty things. And I think that that's so different to go like, I want to be able to say things that hurt people and put people at risk, and I don't want anyone to criticize me or limit this as my platform for that, versus saying like, I don't think that like political figures should cut off the speech of queer people and sex workers and people who are advocating for Palestinian rights and freedom and safety. So I think that to me is the difference. And then on the other back, kind of ping ponging back a little bit, I don't feel like a hypocrite being like, some things are good to say and some things are bad to say, and it's like okay to tell people to shut the fuck up for saying the things that are like cruel and destructive, and that's not an infringement on their First Amendment rights. Something that really has touched me over the last few years is the like, I know it is like a Jewish principle, the idea that of like, in every life a universe. And so to me, I think there's like great stress and despair over not being able to do everything for everyone. I think not being able to like keep everyone healthy and keep everyone safe and allow everyone bodily autonomy, etc. That is like an enormously stressful thing. However, the converse of that is nice is that to protect one person's freedom and safety and health is like a gigantic, beautiful miracle that we can be performing for each other all the time.